Friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu, and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 14, 15, and 16. So, due to Diwali, we were not able to upload the current affairs and we were not able to making the videos. So, we are basically combined 14, 15, and 16th of November 2020 current affairs. But before proceeding, I want to discuss about the Affairs Cloud subscription, that you can buy our Affairs Cloud subscription with two methods. You can visit our website, that is affairscloud/current affairs, or you can directly go to the description box of this video. There is a link of the subscription. You can directly visit the subscription area. What you will get in the subscription? You will get the daily PDFs, you will get the weekly PDFs, you will get the weekly test arranged according to the week. You can see here is the month of the August and we arranged according to the week, and in every month you will get the weekly test, and it is very important to evaluate yourself. Next is the section of the monthly PDF. You will get the 5 PDF in the monthly PDF section. One is related to the monthly PDF study. It means all the theoretical news is covered under this PDF. Second is related to the question and answer PDF. All the theoretical current affairs converted into the question and answer format, so you can revise and retain the current affair very easily. Next is the current affair pocket PDF. As the name suggests, it is very important to revise the current affair quickly before exam. And next is the banking, finance and the economy PDF. Again, it is very important section for the banking students or the banking aspirants. Last but not the least, that is the question and answer PDF top 100. It means top 100 current affairs of the month will be converted into the question and answer format, so you can revise and retain so many times. So these subscription comes at very minimal cost, and guys, on that minimal cost we are providing you 10% extra discount if you use this code ASH10. Then you will get the 10% extra discount. Now let's start today's current affair, that is 14, 15 and 16th combinedly current affairs, and today we will discuss 7 to 8 very important and the most important current affairs. Here is our first question. The Ministry of Finance gave its node for the creation of the first ever, now keyword is the first ever, national database of which type of workers? Mark under very important section. So due to COVID-19, many of the laborers or the daily wages workers displaced from their homes or displaced from their working places. So that's why there is a need to form a national database of these workers, and these workers are unorganized workers, known as the unorganized workers. So remember, it is the first time that national database of these unorganized workers will be placed under the Ministry of Finance, and Ministry of Finance provided this node for the creation of this database. And under this regard, Ministry of Labor and Employment has envisaged development of national database of unorganized workers seeded with Aadhaar. It means they want to link these unorganized workers data with the Aadhaar. You can see in the picture also that Ministry of Finance moves to set up the database of migrant workers. The national database gave its node for the creation of the first ever database of unorganized workers under an expected outlay of 650 crore. It means total expenditure will be 650 crore rupees. This project will include migrant workers. I already told you, due to the COVID-19, there is a need to form a database of the migrant workers, and also the benefits to be provided through this database will encourage them to enroll on the website, so that the Galeeb Kalyan Yojana, any type of the scheme of the government directly benefited to the migrant workers, so it could be collaborated with the Aadhaar. It will be helpful in providing welfare schemes or implementing social security initiative for the labor by the government. So very good initiative by the government that they are creating this database for the unorganized worker, because till date there is no type of any national quadrilateral database, so that we can basically provide the benefits to the unorganized sector, because we don't know how much unorganized workers are working. So by this database we can know about the unorganized worker potential and the strength also. Now who is the Union Minister of Ministry of Finance? That is very simple, that is the Nirmala Sitharaman. And who is the Minister of State? That is Anurag Singh Thakur. Now moving to our next question. Which state passed a resolution on Sarna code seeking separate identity code for tribals? Now mark under the most important question, because it will become a religion. It will become a different type of the religion under the Sarna code. And these Sarna followers basically worshipper of the nature. They belong to the worshipper of the nature. They do not consider themselves as Hindus basically. They are worshipper of the nature. And these Sarna people belongs to the Jharkhand state. So remember, it is the state of Jharkhand that passes a resolution on the Sarna court seeking separate identity code for the tribals, and mark under the most important question. You can see here, Jharkhand Assembly passes resolution for separate identity code for tribals. You can see here, Jharkhand Assembly anonymously passed a resolution on the Sarna code. The resolution seeks inclusion of the Sarna as a separate religion. Mark under the important section this line, in the 2021 census. It means they are basically forming a new type of the religion that is known as the Sarna religion, and they belong to the Jharkhand state. Sarna followers are the worshipper of the nature. I already told you, they do not consider themselves as Hindu. They pray the natural things like trees, hills, because they are giving something to them. That's why they are praying the natural things like trees and hills, and believe in protecting the forest area, and they are known as the tribal community or the forest community. And who is the Chief Minister of Jharkhand? That is the Hemant Soren. Who is the Governor of Jharkhand? That is the Draupadi Murmu. Remember, Draupadi Murmu. And capital is the Ranchi. And there is a very famous national park in the Jharkhand, that is the Betla National Park. So remember, this is also important. Betla National Park in the Jharkhand. Move to next stage. India and which country launched construction of third integrated check post to boost trade? It means already 2 integrated check posts are there between India and this country. Now they launched the third integrated check post so that the trade can be easily covered between the 2 countries, and this country is the Nepal. So mark the answer C. If you are thinking about C, then it is correct answer, that India and Nepal launched construction of the third integrated check post to boost trade. You can see also in the image there, India and Nepal jointly launched third integrated check post to aim boost to trade and the connectivity. You can see also here, India and Nepal launched the construction of third integrated check post at Nepalganj, Nepal. So on the Nepal side, it will be constructed at the Nepalganj, and on the Indian side, it will be constructed at the Rupaidiha, that is in the Uttar Pradesh. So this is important. If you belongs to Uttar Pradesh, then this is the most important news for you guys, because the third check post between India and Nepal will be constructed between UP and the Nepal area, Nepalganj. And it will be constructed at a cost of almost 147 crore rupees. And it is very important for the customization or the immigration facility under one roof to smoothen the cross-border movement of the cargo trucks. I already told you, it will smoothen the process of the trade, and it also basically provide the communication between the 2 countries. India and the integrated check post on India-Nepal border at the Birgunj and the Biratnagar or Birat Nagar. That is the Birganj, that is the Birat Nagar. That is the correct pronunciation. Biratnagar and the Birganj. And Birganj was first, you have to remember, Birganj was basically in 2018, that India and Nepal first integrated check post in 2018, that is the Birganj. Next is the Biratnagar, that is recently in 2020, Jan 2020. So there are already 2 check posts existing, that is the Birganj and the Biratnagar. Third is this, that is the Nepalganj, that is in the Nepal, and in the Uttar Pradesh, that is the Rupaidiha. So remember this. And Uttar Pradesh, guys, very famous state. Uttar Pradesh, there is a Dudhwa National Park, that is most important national park, or you can say the Tiger Reserve of India. Dudhwa Tiger Reserve, you can say also. Move to next question. Lawrence and Turbo will construct 20-kilometer 4-lane road bridge across which river? That is the longest bridge over a river in the northern eastern states. All you know, there are 7 northeastern states. One is Myanmar. I am basically in acronym this 7 sisters. M cube, A square, and T. M stands for Mizoram, Meghalaya, Manipur. A stands for Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. N for Nagaland. T for Tripura. So remember, Sikkim is not a part of these 7 sisters. Sikkim is a brother of these 7 sisters, but not a part of 7 sisters. And on the northeastern, it is the longest bridge over any river. And one river is flowing through this northeastern state. This is the Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra basically starts from the Mansarovar Lake, and it starting from the China country, and in China it is known as the Sangpo. It is known as Sangpo, and at the Namcha Burma mountain it bends towards the south and making a U-shaped valley, and it enters into India from the Arunachal Pradesh. From Arunachal Pradesh it enters to Assam, and from Assam it enters to the Bangladesh. And in India it is also known as the Dehang in Arunachal Pradesh. And after entering the Bangladesh, it is known as Jamuna. J for Jamuna. You can see in the option also. J for Jamuna. That is the name of Brahmaputra in the Bangladesh. After meeting with the Padma, that comes from the Ganga area, and it becomes the Meghna and drain into the Bay of Bengal. This is all about the Brahmaputra. Now, this Brahmaputra, on this river Brahmaputra, there will be a construction of 20-kilometer long 4-lane road bridge, and it is the longest bridge over any river in the northeastern state. So remember, it is the river of Brahmaputra. You can see also here, this is the basically type of the bridge, and it emerges as the lowest bidder, country's longest river bridge in the northeast. That is the lowest bidder that will only basically spend rupees 3166 crores for the construction of 20-kilometer 4-lane road bridge. It is connecting the Dhubri in Assam and Fulbadi in the Meghalaya on National Highway 127B. It means it is connecting the northeastern two states, that is Assam and the Meghalaya. You have to remember this. And if you are belonging to the northeastern area, then you have to remember exactly the place, that is from Dhubri to Fulbadi. Or you can just remember the Assam to Meghalaya. The river bridge project is financed by the Japan International Corporation Agency, and the project will enable better connectivity with the northeastern state to the rest of India, because northeastern states are basically from the last 7 to 8 years, they are emerging as the bigger states, but they are cut off from the main India. That's why there is a need of connectivity between the northeastern states and the rest of India. So this bridge work as a connectivity between the northeastern and the rest of India. And guys, you all know about the national parks of the Assam, like Kaziranga National Park is there. There is a Manas National Park. There is a Dibru-Saikhowa Biosphere Reserve also in Assam, Dibru-Saikhowa. So Nameri National Park is also in Assam. So there are 4 very important national parks, or the you can say the tiger reserve in the Assam, and 1 biosphere reserve, that is the Dibru-Saikhowa. Now state is the Meghalaya. Meghalaya is very famous for the Nokrek Biosphere Reserve. Nokrek Biosphere Reserve. There are 3 mountains, combination of 3 mountains, that is known as Garo, Khasi and Jaintia. There is also a Balpakram National Park. Remember this, Balpakram National Park in the Meghalaya, important one. So I am repeating again: Kaziranga National Park, Nameri National Park, Manas Tiger Reserve, and also Dibru-Saikhowa Biosphere Reserve in the Assam. And in Meghalaya, Balpakram National Park, Nokrek Biosphere Reserve, that is in Meghalaya. So remember this. Move to next question. Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in which ASEAN India Summit 2020? Mark it a very important question, because Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently participated in the ASEAN meeting, and you have to tell me this is the which number of the ASEAN. And this is, guys, and answer is B option, that is the 17th. It is the 17th ASEAN India Summit, which is addressed by, or the basically you can say from the Indian side, it is participated by the Narendra Modi ji, because India is not a member of basically the ASEAN association, that is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and total 10 countries are the member, but India is not a member of the ASEAN. So there will be ASEAN India Summit. So it is inaugurated or the participated by the Prime Minister Modi ji, that is the 17th. And who is the currently chairman of the ASEAN? Which country is the currently chairman? That is the Vietnam. Remember, Vietnam is the chairman for the 2020. And which countries are member? That is the southeast from the India. If you move from the Myanmar, you will recognize the states who are member of the ASEAN. That is Myanmar is also a member. From Myanmar, you can go to the Singapore to Malaysia, and Malaysia to you can there is a combination of the 3 countries, that is Cambodia, Laos and the Vietnam. These 3 countries are member. Next there is a Brunei. Next is you can say the Philippines. These are the member. Thailand. These are the member of the ASEAN countries. And total 10 countries are member of the ASEAN. And where is the headquarters? That is in Jakarta, Indonesia. You can remember here. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed 17th ASEAN India Summit. The focus of the summit was to discuss regional and the international issues of common interest and concern, including South China Sea and terrorism, because India want to tackle this South China problem, because China want to overtake all the South China Sea and want to capture all the trade between the countries who are basically using the South China Sea. But India want to tackle this problem with China also. During the summit, India announced a contribution of US $1 million to the COVID-19 ASEAN Response Fund, so that maximum to maximum COVID-19 problem can be tackled now. So this is the basically initiative of the Indian government. So remember, this second line is very important, that India is contributing US $1 million to COVID-19 ASEAN Response Fund. Move to next question. Who won the 2020 United Nations Population Award? The two keywords in this question is very important. One is the United Nations Population Award. What is this award? And second is which person in the 2020 won this award. Now, first of all, I am telling you that who won this award. That is the HelpAge India, and second is the Gyalum Wangchuk. So remember these two. One is the basically individual award. This is the individual award, and this is the institution award. There are two awards. One is given to the institution, one is given to the individual. So both A and B will be the answer. So answer should be the D. Now let's discuss about the United Nations Population Award. This award basically established by the United Nations General Assembly in 1981. In 1981, this award first presented in 1983. And this award is given every year to honor an individual or an institution to recognize their outstanding contribution to population and reproductive health issues and solutions. It means the benefit will be given to the masses. That's why they are recognized, those persons who are providing the benefit to the masses or the population and the reproductive health issues and the solution. So both A and B. And in the individual category, it is won by the that is the Gyalum Wangchuk, and in the institution it won by the HelpAge India. You can also see here that from Indian side is the HelpAge India who won this United Nations Population Award in the institution category in 2020. And this institution is very important for India because this institution HelpAge India working in 20 states, and it is working towards the disadvantaged elderly people in India for 4 decades. It means they are working from the 40 years. The organization enables the elderly people to live an active, dignified and healthy life. The organization provides employment opportunity to the older people, advocates for their rights in the community, and helps local organizations to support them. It means they are working on the rights of the or the employment opportunities for the older people. So this is the HelpAge India. And now in the individual category, you can say that is the Gyalum Wangchuk, that she won this award. She is basically a you can say the Bhutan monarch, or you can simply say the Queen Mother of the Bhutan, who won in the individual category. You can also see here that HelpAge India won in the category of the institutional, because HelpAge India is an institution, and Her Majesty Gyalum Sangye Wangchuk, Queen Mother of Bhutan, won in the individual category. So remember this. And this is presented by the United Nations Population Fund. United Nations Population Fund. Remember, headquarters is United Nations headquarters in New York. And how many countries are member of United Nations? That is 193 countries are member of the United Nations. And when it was established on 24th October 1945, because 24th of October every year is celebrated as United Nations Day. Remember these, all the information I told you. Move to next question. Insomnia, Army Story, a collection of tales about Indian Army, is written by which person? Not so much important book, but you can remember by the title, that is the Insomnia. What is the meaning of the insomnia? That is the sleep disorder, because Indian Army is not sleeping and they are protecting our borders. That's why the book name is the Insomnia. Even this book stated or you can say speaks more about the emotions in various forms and speaks less about the army. And all the characters featured in the Insomnia book are not heroic. The character represent ordinary people who have their own weakness and the failures. That's why they are using the title of the Indian Army. And it is written by the Richa, or you can say the, sorry, not Richa, that is the Rachana Bisht Rawat. So remember, it is the Rachana Bisht Rawat who wrote this book, Insomnia, Army Stories, a collection of tales about the Indian Army. You can also see the picture of the book, that Insomnia, Army Stories by the Rachana Bisht Rawat, or how you can remember, RBR, by RBR, that is Insomnia, Army Stories. Remember this. And she also wrote a book about the, you can say the short story book, that is the Munni Mausi. She won the 2008-9 Commonwealth Short Story Competition Award. So you can remember, but it is not so much important. Move to next question. RBI कहता है, all you know, I think Amitabh Bachchan sound, that is RBI कहता है. Campaign was launched in how many languages to educate people about good practices, regulation and initiatives in the banking and the financial sector. Basically, they are awareing about the frauds in the ATM cards, credit cards, and that's why they are basically use the name that RBI कहता है. And this campaign was launched in how many languages? This campaign is launched in 14 languages, and answer is C, guys. Answer is C. And guys, one more important key point that RBI कहता है was the first even 360-degree campaign initiated by the central bank using all mass media, including television, radio, newspaper, hoardings, web banners, gifts, you can say the social media, SMS. Even in the Kaun Banega Crorepati, you can see that Amitabh Bachchan is also titling the RBI कहता है. So it is very important. And all you know about the RBI, I am not repeating again. The headquarters is in Mumbai, formation in 1935, governor is Shakti Kant Das, and there are 4 deputy governors of RBI. You can remember this. That is the Bibu Prasad Kango, you can remember. Mahesh Kumar Jain, that is the Michelle Debapatra or the Michael Debapatra. And next is M. Rajeshwar Rao. M. Rajeshwar Rao. I am repeating again the name. Bibu Prasad Kango, Mahesh Kumar Jain, that is the Michelle Debapatra or Debapatra, and M. Rajeshwar Rao. You can remember all the 4 deputy governors and mark under the very important section because it is related to the RBI, and this question is the important. RBI कहता है was launched in the 14 languages. Launched in 14 languages. You can see here RBI कहता है campaign. Next question, what is the name of Aung San Suu Kyi's party who is likely to win the 2020 Myanmar election? Very important, because till 2011 Myanmar was under the army rule, and after that this lady changed the future of the Myanmar and formed a new party, and she is winning in the second general elections of the Myanmar. It is the second time that she is winning, and she belongs to the National League for Democracy. Remember, National League for Democracy. NLD is the name of a party of Aung San Suu Kyi. She is currently leading the country, but she is not a president. President is the Win Myint. Remember, Win Myint. M-Y-I-N-T. Win Myint. And capital is the Naypyidaw, and currency is the Kyat. Myanmari Kyat. Remember, currency is the Kyat, and who is the president? That is the Win Myint, and capital is the Naypyidaw. And it will be the second time of our Aung San Suu Kyi as a state councillor, and the second victory for her party, that is the National League for Democracy. You can see here the picture of the lady. I think all you know about the Aung San Suu Kyi. NLD wins second term in the Myanmar election. You can see here Aung San Suu Kyi, National League for Democracy, is likely to win 2020 Myanmar election by securing 346 seats out of 664 seats in the parliament. She played a vital role in the Myanmar transition from military junta to the democracy. It means in 2011, she basically formed this type of the rights, demanding the rights for the people. That's why the democracy came and the military rule overthrown. She was awarded the Nobel Prize in Peace in 1991. Remember this. This is important. The students, I think every student know about this. But if you don't know, then write this. That she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1991 because of her non-violent struggle for democracy and the human rights. So you can also write this also. So this is very important. Remember the name of the lady, Aung San Suu Kyi, and name of her party, that is the NLD, that is the National, you can see here, National League for the Democracy. Move to next question. Ayurveda Day, November 13, 2020, most important day in this year of 2020, because Ayurveda is very much, you can say, the like Sanjeevani Booty in the COVID-19, or you can say that Ayurveda is very important to raise your immunity level in the body, so that you can tackle the COVID-19 problem or the Corona-19. So it is the most important day. It is celebrated on the 13th of November 2020. And what is the theme of this year? That is Ayurveda for COVID-19. How you will remember this 13th November day? That on the 14th November, there will be so much pollution due to Diwali. So that's why we have to celebrate the Diwali very cautiously. And so we have to use the Ayurvedas on the 13th of November. It means before Diwali, we have to consume Ayurveda or the Ayurvedic medicines or the Ayurvedic things, so that we can tackle the 14th November pollution Diwali. So that's the trick you can remember by this in the 2020, because in 2020 Diwali is on the 14th of November. Ayurveda for COVID-19. COVID-19. Remember the theme, that Ayurveda for COVID-19. And it is also known as the Dhanvantri Jayanti, because Dhanvantri, or you can say the Dr. Dhanvantri, is known as the father of Ayurveda. So that's why it is also known as the Dhanvantri Jayanti. And why it is celebrated? I already told you, it is just to preserve the health sciences of Ayurveda, or global initiative to promote the Ayurveda. So remember this, Ayurveda Day, 13th of November 2020. Move to next question. Padam Shri awardee and sculptor Arjun Prajapati dies. And this person dies due to the COVID-19 at the age of 64. And he was known as Maharathi of cloning. Maharathi of cloning, or the master of cloning. He was cloned celebrities like, so many big celebrities like Prince Charles of Britain, former US President Bill Clinton, Padam Shri Pandit Visham Mohan Bhatt, and he was very trained, you can say, cloned artist, or that's why he was known as the Maharathi of cloning. He also built first sculpture museum of Rajasthan, known as Mati Manas. Mati Manas. Remember this. Mati means mitti, that is soil. Manas means Purush, that is the person. Mati Manas, because he is using the clay to create a picture or to create a sculpture. Then that's why it is named as the Mati Manas. And it is the first, you can say, sculpture museum of the Rajasthan. His sculpture has been placed in the Royal Albert Place, London, and the Indian Cultural Society of the United States of America. So by this you can recognize that how much he was important. But he dies, that is very saddened, that Padam Shri awardee and the sculptor Arjun Prajapati. So remember the name of this person, that is the Arjun Prajapati. And it becomes the more important because Bill Clinton honored him with the title of Magician of Sculpture. So remember, Bill Clinton, that then president of the you can say the United States of America, honored with him the title of the Magician of Sculpture. Very important person, that is the Arjun Prajapati. Remember his name. Next is the Ghana former president Jerry Rawlings dies. Just remember the name, Jerry Rawlings. And he was elected 2 times. One is 1993, second is 1997. That is the time period of the president is the 4 years, and he was elected 2 times, and for the 8 years. So remember, from 1993 to 2001, he was elected as a president of the Ghana. And what is the capital of the Ghana, or you can say the Republic of Ghana? Capital is the Accra, ACCRA. President is Nana Addo, and currency is the Ghanaian cedi. So remember, Ghanaian cedi or the Kedi, you can remember by any name. CEDI, that is the currency of the Ghana. President is the Nana Addo, and the capital is the Accra. Remember this. Ghana is important, guys, as the name of the capital and the currency. Move to next question. Rohani Xylus, in new genes of the tree frog discovered in which area? Very important, guys. It is a new genes of the frog, basically. New genes of a tree frog, you can say, Rohani Xylus. And guys, this species of the frog found in the Andaman Nicobar Island and also in the northeastern parts of India. It means answer should be the C, both A and B. The team of researchers from India, China, Indonesia and the Thailand had found this type of the new species in the Andaman Nicobar and the northeastern part of India, that is known as the Rohani Xylus. Basically, this Rohan, the first name of this frog species, that come from the word or the come from the person name, that is the Rohan Pathyagoda. He was taxonomist from the Sri Lanka, and by his name, this species named as the Rohani Xylus. So remember the name of this species, that is the Rohani Xylus, and it is a frog species, tree frog species, and it is found in the Andaman Nicobar and the northeastern part of the India. So remember, this is very important. Even you can see the picture of the frog also. You can see here is the watery paws, that new genes of the tree frog discovered in the Andaman and the northeastern states also. Move to next question. Which state or UT launched Jeevan Seva app? This is very important, guys. Mark under very important question. And this UT or the state is Delhi, basically. And Delhi launched this Jeevan Seva app. You can see here, this is used by the Jeevan Seva app, or you can see here, Delhi launched Jeevan Seva app, the first ever initiative to help COVID-19 patient reach healthcare facilities in electric vehicles for free of cost. It means this electric vehicle will reach at their home to provide the first aid, or you can see the provide the COVID-19 help to any patient of the Delhi. And it is the first ever initiative by the any state or the UT government in India. For this initiative, Delhi government has collaborated with EVERA and that is the electric vehicle cab facility launched by the Prakriti E-Mobility Private Limited. It means these electric vehicles to help transport COVID-19 patients to and from their homes, hospitals and healthcare facilities from any point in Delhi for free of cost in a safe and timely manner. And it is very useful to facilitate Delhi citizens in home isolation if needed. So very important, guys, mark under very important section, and name of the app is very important, that is Jeevan Seva app, and it is launched by Health Minister of Delhi, that is the Satyendra Jain. It is launched by Health Minister of Delhi, that is Satyendra Jain. So remember this also. Move to next question. That is one-liner important points. Now we are moving to the one-liner important points. First one is the IRDAI, that is the you can say the Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India gives final approval for merger HDFC Argo Health and HDFC Argo General Insurance. It means both the companies will be merged under the one name. So mark under the important section that these companies are merging. And you have to remember about IRDAI, that is very important, established in 1999, and IRDAI headquarters is in Hyderabad, guys. Remember, it is in Hyderabad. And who is the chairman of IRDAI? That is the Subhash Kumar Khuntia. Remember, who is the chairman? That is Subhash Kumar Khuntia. Next is RBI to evaluate the impact of the RBI Khelta Hai campaign, or the RBI Kehta Hai campaign, not the Khelta Hai app, that is the Kehta Hai campaign. Remember this, I already told you about all the news. Next is T.S. Trimurti virtually addressed the 44th annual G77 foreign ministerial meeting. First important thing, this person, that is the T.S. Trimurti. He is the India's permanent representative to the United Nations, that is the T.S. Trimurti. It is the 44th annual meeting of the Ministers of the Foreign Affairs of the Group 77. And Group 77 is consist of 134 developing countries. 134 developing countries. That is a group of G77. And headquarter is in New York, United States of America, because it comes under the United Nations. Headquarter is in New York, United Nations headquarter. That is the New York, USA. Next is the India's renewable energy sector to see the largest growth after COVID-19. It is the basically report of the International Energy Agency. So remember, India's renewable energy sector will see the largest growth after COVID-19, and India will double its green energy capacity in 2021 as compared to the 2020, because there is a need of the green energy. So that's why India will basically double the green energy capacity by the year of 2021, and it is an analysis, not a basically happened already, but it is the futuristic approach of the India. So it is the International Energy Agency. And where is the headquarter of IEA? That is the International Energy Agency, that is in the Paris, France. Next, IREDA sanctioned loan worth rupees this much. No need to remember, this is not so much important. Next, Nirmala Sitharaman detailed Atmanirbhar package 3.0 worth rupees 2,65,080 crore, and 12 schemes were announced by the Nirmala Sitharaman ji. And it is the third time that Atmanirbhar Bharat package is given. And the first time it was given as around 11 lakh crore rupees, and second time it was just 73,000 crore, and third time it is the 2,65,000 crore. And so many points here are announced by the Nirmala Sitharaman ji. One is like 18,000 crore additional fund for the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. Second is the announcement for the Atmanirbhar Rozgar package under the EPFO incentive for the new employees. Second is the third one, sorry, basically finance minister announces 65,000 crore for subsidy, fertilizer subsidy for farmers. So these all points, if you want to read all the 12 points, you can visit our website, that is affairscloud.com/current affairs, and you can visit the 14th, 15th and 16th November news. But it is not so much important, so if you want to skip, then you can skip that. But you have to remember one thing, there are 3 Atmanirbhar packages, and it is the third package of the Atmanirbhar installments. So remember these one-liner important points. So this is all for today, guys. If you like this video, then please provide 700 plus likes if you are watching this video. And if you are like the current affairs, then please provide 700 plus likes and press the bell button so that you can receive the notification on time and subscribe this channel so you can basically cover the current affairs on the daily basis. And thank you guys for watching this video, and it is Affairs Club promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section. Thank you guys again for watching this video, and take care.